For more, let me bring in Jamil Jaffer, founder of the National Security Institute at George Mason University's Antonin Scalia Law School and former associate counsel to President George W. Bush. Jamil, good morning to you. So, a couple ships here making their way through the Gulf, but the IRGC continues to play hardball. How seriously are you taking this new threat from them?
Well, it's obviously one we should take very seriously, Markie. This is a challenge because this entire time that we've been in this conflict with Iran, it's continuously said that it's going to open the Strait of Hormuz if the United States engages in a ceasefire, which we did for weeks, and then it didn't do it. And now we've entered into this deal, and Iran continues to say it's not going to open the strait. It's going to threaten ships. This is contrary to everything they've agreed to thus far. And unfortunately, while we have seen these two ships make it through, it's not clear this is going to be a sustained process, given the threats that the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps is making to that shipping in the region.
Yeah, and Trump said, and to your point of we've seen Iran, change its mind on a dime every few days. Trump said that based on Iran's major concessions in this MOU, he agreed to lift the naval blockade of Iranian ports and allow the Strait of Hormuz to remain open. Is lifting the naval blockade the right move at this moment from the United States, you think?
Well, look, it's hard to know, Markie, because we have to see what we're going to get for that. Will, in fact, the strait be opened? Will traffic be able to proceed through there? Will the world's oil supply be unconstrained once again by Iran? We haven't yet seen that. And so right now, we've released the blockade, just like we previously stopped hitting Iran on their mainland, and they haven't really done their part. Again, a couple of ships have gotten through. We'll see if that's an actual sustained effort. But if they continue to not do their part in this agreement, it doesn't matter what they conceded if they don't actually do the thing they said they're going to do.
Yeah, there's so much disparity from both sides about what's been agreed to, what's not. Let's talk about the nuclear portion of this now, of course. That's the other big crux. After a whole lot of public back and forth between Iran, the U.S., and also the International Atomic Energy Agency, the head of the UN's nuclear watchdog now says nuclear site inspections will happen eventually. But I thought it was interesting. They said the timing was not a huge deal. Take a listen.
We will have to inspect. Whether this happens the day after tomorrow or in 1 week or in 10 days, it's important but not essential.
Jamil, do you agree with that stance? Not essential?
Well, look, I mean, I think, again, like with the opening of the Strait of Hormuz and the removal of the blockade, it's really a question of will they actually allow it to happen? When will that happen? And will they be actually effective inspections? The problem with Iran is that we've seen the show before. We've had agreements that they're going to let inspectors in. We've had agreements that they'll allow inspectors to go visit sites of potential prior military dimension. This has never been fully satisfied by Iran. They've continuously hidden their parts of their nuclear program from inspectors. You remember when we figured out about Natanz and about Fordo, all covert sites that the world didn't know about until they were revealed by Iranian third-party groups. And so we don't know if the Iranians will do these things. And the problem is we're relieving pressure on them now. We're allowing them to sell oil. We're removing sanctions. We're handing them back frozen assets, all the while not knowing for sure if they'll actually do the thing they say they're going to do. To me, that's the challenge. In my view, the stronger move is to keep the pressure up, ensure they're going to do what they say they're going to do, and then release sanctions, allow oil out, and the like.
Yeah, it's also interesting, you zoom in on the text of this MOU. It does not mention any requirement for Iran to restrict its missile program, only an explicit pledge not to develop nuclear weapons. Trump himself said at the G7, he said, quote, missiles aren't the problem. You served in the George W. Bush administration. He obviously made Iran's missile and nuclear programs a central national security concern. So how do you read that the U.S. essentially has taken missiles off the table here?
Well, I think that's just wrong. I mean, the reality is that one of the biggest criticisms and right criticisms of the Obama-era nuclear deal was that it didn't deal with Iran's support for terrorism. It didn't deal with Iran's ballistic missile program. In fact, it removed some amount of pressure on those programs, and it allowed Iran to enrich uranium domestically. The problem with the current MOU is it doesn't address those issues. It doesn't address Iran's support of terrorism. It doesn't address ballistic missiles. And it kicks for 60 days down the road this question of what they're going to be able to do with enrichment. But given the tone of the conversations, it seems clear Iran has not given up what they believe is their right to enrich. And that was rightly one of President Trump's biggest criticisms of the deal. So if he enters into this deal that he's laid out right now in the MOU and something doesn't change dramatically in the next 60 days, he's essentially done a version of the Obama-era nuclear deal that actually in some ways might be worse than that deal, and that's pretty hard to do.
One last question before I let you go, just obviously because you've worked in a presidential administration before, I'm curious what you made of the Senate's about face yesterday on the war powers vote. I mean, did they not show their cards earlier in the week?
Well, it's clear that there's unhappiness politically in both parties with this war. We've seen the House Act. We've now seen the Senate Act. Obviously, we saw Senators Paul and Cassidy move their votes around after that tense meeting with the president. But that doesn't mean there's an amount of frustration between the administration and Republican senators in particular over this deal. And so you've seen Senator Cassidy be very critical of the president. You've seen a number of other senators raise these issues as well, both Republicans and Democrats. And so it's clear there's not support for the deal in the political branches of the government. And the war itself lacks some amount of support, although at the end of the day, if we got the right outcome, I think you'd have support for the war. I think the challenge is people say, we fought this war. What do we get for it? And I think that's why people are having challenges right now with the current deal.
Yeah, we'll see what comes of today. And I know that Secretary Rubio announced that the next round of technical talks scheduled to pick up in Switzerland again sometime next week. Jamil, Jaffer, thank you so much as always. Appreciate you and your expertise, sir.
Thanks, Markie.